Warning: Metal or Get the Fuck Out is intended for a mature audience even though it may not come off that way. The content herein are for entertainment only and not educational purposes. The hosts do not always know what they are talking about, but fake it very well. In closing, if you take your metal too seriously or have a stick up your ass, then by all means, please, get the fuck out.
Control to dominate. Contain, control, exterminate. Contain, 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 control to dominate. Contain, control, exterminate.
As the biting wind howls and the night oppresses, a lonely figure enters the deep dark recesses of a cathedral made of iron, steel, oh yes, a cathedral of metal. Bigfoot opens an ancient dusty book and discovers the secret. The secret he has searched for time immemorial. 5 million years ago, when the Earth was created. And then, nothing. Silence. But deep beneath the crust of the planet, the bellow of a demon and the sound of a ringing metal hammer. Once, twice, and on the third ring, the birth of metal. Metal or get the out with Monster and Goo.
Todd, I'm not really sure what a lonely finger is. I don't think he says lonely finger. Figure? Maybe? Figure? I don't know. You there, Ghost?
Kidney stones?
Kidney stones. What does that have to do with anything?
Just the way you're saying things. It's you. Never mind.
Yeah, never mind. Thanks. Cool story, bro. Welcome to another special edition of Metal or Get the Fuck Out, otherwise known as Metal or GTFO. I am part of the Go hosting crew. I go by the name of Lumber Squatch. Gentleman on the other microphone is Mega Goose. Please say hello.
Hello.
That took forever and a day. Hey, you can catch us at metalorgtfo.com. Pretty simple to remember if you ask me, but you didn't, but I told you anyway. We're also on the interwebs, on all the fine and dandy social media platforms, such as Twitter, twitter.com/metalorgtfo, the Facebooks, facebook.com/metalorgtfo show. Where else are we? We on Tumblr? Do you know what the Tumblr is?
We're on Tumblr.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's Metal or GTFO.
Okay.
If you just search, I think it's like how our Tumblr works, tumblr.com/metalgtfo. I'll actually sign in right now and find out.
Ooh, you do that. We've got an email address, metalorgtfoshow@gmail.com. Of course, you can find us on iTunes, if that's your downloading or listening choice preference. We are on Stitcher. Stitcher is quickly becoming the go-to app of choice for, I think, streaming media on most mobile platforms. Is that safe to say, other than iTunes?
Well, Stitcher, as far as I know, is only... I mean, if you signed up for a password, like for the web a long time ago, you can still access it. But
right.
Other than that, I don't think you can access it on the web anymore.
Oh.
So it's pretty much strictly mobile.
I didn't even know you could access it on the web. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But Stitcher, and of course we do the show live and direct to you every week via Spreaker. Just search out Metal or GTFO or look up Spreaker.com/Radio Billy FM. And it's live. There's a chat room. There's 2 people in the chat room now. Actually, probably not even Todd's there anymore. I don't know. Todd might just be in the chat room and not even listening.
Metal or GTFO show.tumblr.com.
There you go. And if you're not following us on Twitter, Twitter is the place to be, as far as I'm concerned. Lots of activity over the past week. Lots of fun.
Out of everything, it's the most unobtrusive, I think, of all the social media. It does what you want it to do. You don't have to pay for it if you want to reach people who already follow your page. So, yes. And Tumblr's the same way. I mean, I don't use Tumblr all that much, but in regards, comparing it to...
Facebooker?
a Facebooker, yeah. It's I like it more.
No, I do too. What was I going to say?
I don't know.
Good question. Shit. No, I had some nice interactions going with like Decibel Magazine and some other people. So it's nice to see they're responding and kind of taking notice that we're out there in any way, shape, or form. I'll take it. Other big news for me, at least, was, of course, every Tuesday before the show, I do the Metalogram of the week, where I just take a picture of something in my collection and I post it on my Instagram, which is Lumber Squatch on Instagram. Pretty simple. This week it was a red vinyl record. I don't even know if the Misfits put this out, honestly. It's called If You Don't Know This Song, What the Fuck Are You Doing Here? And it's like a live album recorded in Hitsville, Passaic, New Jersey, Christmas 1981.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've never listened to it, actually. Never listened to it. It's rare, but it could be found for roughly around $30, I think, in good condition out there, if you're interested. Again, I don't think the Misfits had anything to do with it, but regardless, I put it out there on Instagram, and the one and only Doyle hearted the photo, and that made my day.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought so. It also helps that I tagged him in it to bring attention.
Yeah, you went a little tagomania there.
That's what Instagram is. You got to tag everything. So I just I'm a sheep. I said, oh, shit, everybody else tags. I'm going to tag.
All the cool kids are tagging, so am I.
That's right. But I think you have some other information for us, don't you?
Yes. Every Monday, the guys over at Unappreciated Scholars have we do a joint thing for Metal Monday this week. Surprisingly, I already checked it out, but I forgot what they chose. And it's kind of funny considering the conversation we had pre-show. Mm-hmm. But their Metal Monday selection is Manowar, Sign of the Hammer. We had a little discussion, Barry and I, before the show about albums turning 30 years old and stuff, and Manowar was one of them. So it's a funny coincidence. But they're also still going with their Unhomework Challenge. So you go to the Unappreciated Scholars page, and a contest will be there. You pick your favorite album of 83, 84, and they will pick a winner, and you will get a Amazon gift card for $5 bean. So go check it out and get free money.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. No?
We can't be friends. We can't be friends anymore.
Yes, we can, because I am your only true friend. Kind of. And
if you are my only true friend, I got some shitty ass friends.
Okay. Well, maybe you're my only true friend. All right.
Oh, stop! I think I just heard about 10 million people throwing up.
If we had 10 million listeners, I
meant
10. I wouldn't care who would be my friend then. 10 too. Shit. Oh, I'll be the only one who'll play Titanfall with you. So
that's true.
There you have it. I would sacrifice going from Xbox One to Xbox 360 to play Titanfall just for you.
Well, neither one of us might be playing if things go right. If things go a certain direction, so we'll have to just wait and see how that pans out.
But can't you stuff?
Get a bigger hard drive?
No, can't you just put in a memory stick, if I remember correctly, in the old 360?
I don't know.
I think you can. I think
I'd have to get a 40 gig memory stick.
Wow, that hurts.
And how would that work? How well would it work, I should say?
Good question. So, well, we'll have to wait and see I'm going to probably get both anyway because I have nothing better to do with my time or money other than my new 1966 Chrysler Newport that I cruise around in. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Did you finally pick it up?
Yeah.
Nice.
Like 2 weekends ago. Ride along in my automobile. There's two schools of people. Well, there's actually four, I think.
There's actually 13.
Well, when you're out driving a car like that, there's either those who will look at you and be like, yeah, that's a nice car. Others will look at you like, what? Why is that thing still on the road? How many fossil fuels are you burning per mile? Like, I'm almost positive the day I bought it home from Pennsylvania, I had an hour and a half drive, that this dude who got on the highway in front of me in a Prius would not go any faster than like 5 miles an hour below the speed limit because I was behind him. And it was my first time really driving the car, and driving through like the fucking highways of Philadelphia just suck because they're potholes. People suck when they drive. I just didn't want to, take a chance. And I was just behind this dude the whole way until he finally got off. I'm like, I know it. I know he was just being. And if I remember correctly, I know I probably shouldn't say it, but the license plate, I think, said "Great Boys," like GR8, number 8, BOYS. It's like, you're just a douche. So
lame.
I got it. I've been out driving it every now and then. It's been a little bit too cold, but still a fun car to drive. It's
Nice.
metal, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's fucking metal. What was I going to say? Was there anything else?
No, that was all the. That was it.
Yeah. We're just moving on up in the world. We're over 300 followers on. Okay, listen. This Chrysler Mr. JR Morningstar is spot on. It's almost, I wouldn't say it's almost flawless, but it's pretty close to flawless for an almost 50-year-old car. Let's see you when you're 50 years old, okay? What? Yeah, thought so. I have the microphone. Where was I? I don't know where I was. What was I going to talk about?
Who knows?
We're over 300 followers on Twitter. We're over 300 on Facebook, so bigger and better things. And we got somebody designing a logo for us, even though you don't particularly care for it, but that's okay.
Well,
It's in its infancy. That's all you have to look at.
yes. There's a lot of things I don't like when I first see them or whatever.
Like boobs or vagina. You run away.
Yeah, they're icky.
Yep. So what do you want to do? News?
Girls, yuck.
No, it doesn't have a
Do
440.
some news?
Okay, go.
Well, there's a lot of new album talk going around. First off, to a lot of coinciding and coincidences tonight. To sort of coincide with your metalogram, Danzig was in the studio with Tommy Victor, putting down some new tracks for an upcoming Danzig album. So there is no word on the songs or when the album's going to be released or a title or anything like that. But that will be that'll be out hopefully this year. Well, I say hopefully, but sometime this year. And also Gojira.
I'm cutting in here because I can. Wasn't that also have something to do with editing for the special that they recorded or whatever it was?
I don't think that's one and the same.
Oh, okay.
I think the album is the album, and the editing for the TV show is done.
Oh.
So whatever that's going to be, however and wherever that will air, that's finished. Just a matter of airing at this point. I'm looking forward to that for very sick reasons.
You're looking forward to what?
I'm looking forward to that TV special for the worst reasons, It's like a train wreck. You can't look away. It's going to be one of those things. I just have to watch it.
Oh, that's not nice.
Anyway, in better band news, Gojira are working on new material. They posted a picture on Facebook, the guys in the studio. So they are definitely working on new material. No word as to, the how far in they are, or the status, or anything, but they're definitely working on new stuff, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
They've been touring with that last album for seems like forever. So hearing new music from them is something I'm also looking forward to.
Go on.
I don't know.
I don't care about Gojira. I'm not a big Gojira guy.
What's that?
I said I'm not a big Gojira guy.
I know. It's okay.
I know it's okay.
Yes, yeah. Kirk Hammett, this is a weird kind of thing. Kirk Hammett said that, in a new interview with Kerrang that, and to quote, they have no other choice but to get the record started. We cannot think of any other reasons to procrastinate. We're kind of backed up into a corner now, so yes, we have to start working on the album.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm sure that, they want to work on a new album, But it seems like in all the interviews that he's been doing, it's like, fine, I'll work on a new album. God. It's like, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Go out on somewhat top and be done with it. It just seems like he's, like, the fans are making him do it.
But
like,
I also wonder how much of it is them just playing everybody. You know, because people know that they have all these riffs, something like 12,000 riffs or whatever it was. And, you know, they're due to start recording a new album. So it's like, how much of it is them just kind of baiting, you know, teasing and baiting everybody just to see what they say and just to keep everybody, like, guessing, or just one of those games that sometimes...
I don't think they're that slick.
You don't?
No.
You don't think that, you know, they're counting their millions, they're that slick?
Well, I don't mean like that. I'm just saying I don't think they're slick to you know, pull a fast one like that.
I do.
I don't think they can be bothered.
I don't know.
They just go swimming in their vaults of money like Scrooge McDuck and go ha ha ha.
No, I don't know. I think part of it is they're just kind of like throwing stuff out there and seeing what gets a bite and what doesn't.
Maybe. I won't say yes or no. I just don't think so.
Okay. Whatever.
What else we got here? News from Jason. I find this whole thing so funny, and again, in a sick and demented way. Jason Newsted on the band's Facebook page says, due to private and personal circumstances, we sincerely regret to inform you that Newsted band will be unable to perform February and March. That's at the Soundwave tour. Mm-hmm. So, this is how this whole thing is going on. Mustaine may or may not have had it kicked off. We'll never get the full story there. So, no, this is Testament. He was supposed to come back with Testament. Newsted. So he canceled that. Whitechapel was to take Newsted's place on Soundwave. They had to back out too because of I think someone's having a family issue in the band.
Right.
A personal. They didn't. I don't think they divulged exactly what was going on, but they said it was a personal thing. So I don't know what is in Australia, but no one seems to want to go there.
I don't know if it's necessarily Australia, but it's starting to sound like people are having issues with this Soundwave promoter, maybe?
I've read a couple other things here and there about him, and I just actually saw a tweet from, what's his name, Odorous, alluding to something about Soundwave or an Australian festival or something like that. So maybe there is something going on with the promoter that's not seeing light of day.
That's not kosher?
It may not, I don't know. Are they kosher over there?
I don't know, but that's just like a saying.
I know.
Because, it is a long way for American bands to just run over there and then get screwed for whatever reason. And, of course, I think as you famously say, there's always two sides to every story.
I am so famous for saying that.
You really are. I've seen you on the internets.
The webs.
Mm-hmm. But, it just seems like recently, like a lot of bands are on the festival, then they're off the festival, and then... But the Newsted thing, the second time, the spiders are fucking huge. That and the coconut crabs. Holy crap. They're evil. But Newsted was off Soundwave, like you said, got on the Testament thing, but now something personal and private. I don't know. Maybe everybody's just allergic to Australia.
I mean, that's a hell of a flight. I mean, plus they have to get all the gear there. That must really cost a fucking fortune.
Well, I don't know if necessarily they bring a lot of their own gear. I think sometimes they're touring with a national Australian act. Maybe they'll borrow some gear from them, drums or whatever, because you got to save on expenses.
Yeah.
But still, it's really fishy. Maybe more stuff will come out in the coming weeks. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned for more news. A couple other things. Did you read the I don't know what you want to call it, the report from the guy who jumped from the balcony and injured those 3 people?
You know what? I started to read that, and then I got distracted with something else at work, and I forgot about it.
Squirrel?
I wish it was a squirrel. I wish it was that simple.
Well, this guy made a statement, and I'm not going to read it verbatim. I'll paraphrase some things, but basically, it's a white dude from Colorado. He used the N-word in his little statement here, but he was alluding to this is the way people act at a punk rock show, and if you can't deal with it, whatever, man. Yeah, I got to jump off a 20-foot balcony and caught by numerous eager fellow fun-time havers. Fun-time havers were his exact words, by the way. I don't regret it. I'll remember that day for as long as I live. Welcome to genuine hardcore and punk culture. So he went to see, if I remember correctly, Bring Me the Horizon, who are neither hardcore nor punk. So he's got his whole quote-unquote culture wrong. And he's just an overall friggin' douchebag.
Ooh. Yeah, they're like a metal.
Who is facing charges. I don't know what the charges are. I don't remember reading them anywhere specifically, but he's going to pay some kind of fines and jail time. But it's just so goddamn funny, the mentality of these people.
Yeah, he just doesn't want to take responsibility for his actions and just trying to throw it out there to, hey, you got to watch out for people jumping 20 feet off a balcony onto your head.
It's like, listen, I mean, I've never gone to a show where anyone's done that, but
We did. We talked about it last week, Studio One. Those speakers were pretty high.
Well, that was a speaker. And I think what we discussed was if I saw some guy climbing that speaker, I'd be like taking 3 steps back as I watched him climb because there's no way I'm letting some asshole jump on me from a freaking speaker.
No way.
I mean, we've seen people hit the floor just on the stage.
Yeah, they do a good bounce too.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially overweight guys. You know who you are.
I'm not that overweight.
No, I'm not talking about you. I just meant that was a general, overweight. Because you always see the heavyset guy running off the stage, and you're like, oh crap, he's coming right at me. Sometimes it's too late. Sometimes you can stick and move and get out of the way, but it's tricky. You got to be on your toes.
It is tricky to rock a rhyme. Rock a rhyme that is right on time. It's tricky. Tricky. Here we go. Okay.
I forgot the next line. I'm sorry. I couldn't play along.
I met this little girlie who said her name was Shirley. Went to her house and bust her out. I had to leave real early.
Excuse me. You're remember the name of the show?
Barry is awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they had other Anthrax news, but we're going to discuss that later on.
Yes, do not even
We had a bunch of that, so I'm not going to give anything away there. But in probably, I guess, what would be the biggest news, Tim Lambesis is going away. It's unclear right now whether he is definitely going to jail, for how long, and what kind of fines he's paying, because what it sounds like is he pled to a deal.
Yes.
He won't be sentenced until May 2nd. So whether he gets 9 years was the max for the crime. So he could get as much as 9. He might get probation, which I sure as fuck hope he doesn't. He may end up paying a fine. We don't know for a couple months, but the whole court thing is for the most part over. So now it's just waiting to see what the judge decides.
I read the headline. I was like, wow, that was kind of fast. I thought there was going to be a trial or something, and maybe there was, and I just kind of missed it. But yeah, I would think you can't just pay a fine for trying to kill somebody.
No. Goddamn, I hope not.
Yeah, here's $50. You tried to hire somebody to kill your wife. It's $125 and 3 points on your license. I was like, what? What are you doing? I understand the justice system is really fucked up and not the greatest when it comes to parity and in sentences for crimes, but he's got to do something. It's just not right.
No.
And what's going to suck is he's going to go to jail and get more bitches in jail than you. So what's up with that?
Damn, I got to get myself in prison.
You do. I'm saying. But because it's so weird how like women see these guys in jail, these murderers, and now like even Tim Lambesis, when he was, just being accused of hiring somebody to kill his wife, all these girls like, no way he would do that. No, I'll fucking kill you.
You meant real women. I thought you meant the other thing that happens in jail.
No, I actually meant girls. Yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
I didn't mean men.
That's not like you.
I know, but I'm trying to clean up my image.
Oh, that's good. Good.
I try. And it's just so weird how women gravitate to guys in jail.
They're bad boys, man.
You're not like Charles fucking Manson. What is up with that?
Well, I think that's a whole different kind of crowd.
It is. It's totally different kind of crowd, but it's still he's like Scott Peterson found guilty of killing his wife and unborn child. Then all of a sudden he is getting like married. I think he got married in jail. Maybe I don't know. It's like, okay, dude, he's in jail because he killed a woman and his unborn child, and you want to marry him.
There's someone out there for everybody.
But when you think about it, it is pretty metal.
I don't know if I would look at it that way, but sure, why not?
Well, you know, you got to do what you got to do.
Tough times.
Tough. Is that all the news you got?
That's all the news for now, yeah.
Why is that?
We'll discuss more later.
Oh, okay. Do you want to get into your pick of the week?
Let's get into the pick of the week. This week is a Spanish band from Albacete, Spain. I came in touch with these guys after we did Skilla on the show a few weeks back. Maybe a week after. I actually got a couple tweets and a couple emails from several Spanish bands. And I was actually kind of surprised. These guys, Frequency is the name of the band, and the album is called The Flow. It's pretty much death metal with some maybe a little bit of mix of metal, deathcore and some melodic stuff. You know, it's not just like straight up death metal. There's clean vocals, but it's mostly just like, you know, your typical death metal screams and stuff like that. What's really cool is a couple of songs I don't know, I should have actually researched this, so I get demerits for not researching.
That's right.
But there's a couple of tracks where they play that Spanish-style guitar.
Oh, yeah. The thinger.
Yeah, that thinger, the thingamajigger. And it comes off in the beginning, and you're like, what the hell is this? And then the way it flows into the song, it's actually really, really cool. It caught me off guard, but it worked. You know, it worked really well. Some of the tracks have some are more groove oriented. Some are a little bit thrash, but overall, it's like a death metal, you know, overtones throughout the whole thing. It's really cool. I think one of the best things about it is it's a really good production. It's not like overly clean, but it's very clean, if that makes any sense. You know, it kind of doesn't, but I think, you know, I mean, it's not really rough, but it's clean, not to the point of being, you know, totally washed away of everything.
Okay.
But it's really good. It's a big album too. There's 15 songs on it, which I was surprised. You don't find many albums with that many songs on them anymore. Usually it's like 8 or 10, and maybe 12 if you're lucky.
8 or 10 or 12.
10 or 12, 10. But yeah, Frequency, The Flow. They're on Bandcamp. Bandcamp. Frequency. I hate these Bandcamp URLs.
Yeah.
Frequency.bandcamp.com, but the new album isn't on there yet. I was told it wasn't supposed to be released in the States until the 14th, but yet you have it on Google Play, and I found it on iTunes.
Yeah,
so
over here.
I'm not quite sure, but the April 14th. So if you like the song, you want to check out more, check them out on Google Play or on
I'm hungry.
On iTunes if you have it.
Feed me. I'm hungry. I don't know why I'm hungry. Maybe I'll drink this bottle of maple syrup in front of me. A nip of maple syrup. But first, I think we should play a song from Frequency, correct? Off the album The Flow?
Yes, please.
How about Conjunction of Senses?
It's a great tune.
I think that'll work. We'll be back.
I'm
Frequency with the flow. How does that sound? Goose?
Yes.
Oh, there you are, you mega derp.
Derping.
I would just like to say we have boobs.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, I mean, I don't physically on me, and
well,
I don't think you do. But in the room, I'd like to say hello to Angel. She's been MIA for a few weeks. Hi.
Probably hang out in some other chat room.
Now we can ignore the other people in the room. It's like, whatever. Whatever, you know, dicks. Whatever, we don't need them. Right? Am I right?
Oh, yeah. You never cease to amaze yourself.
Welcome back to Metal or Get the Fuck Out. Metal or GTFO show. Nope. Metal or GTFO.com. And all that other good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so now what are we going to do? We're going to go into, you have class? You've always had class. You know, I was saying 2 snaps. The review, right?
Yeah,
right.
That thing.
Why don't you tell the people what it is and get into it while I get the next song queued up?
All right. I'll take, 2 seconds?
No, more.
This week, we are reviewing Artificial Brain. It's their debut album called Labyrinth Constellation. It features, among other people, the guitarist for Revocation, Dan Gargiulo. I'm sure I murdered that name. Sorry, Daniel. Off of Profound Lore Records. This album was getting a lot of traction when the first couple songs were released. I think Metal Sucks had the first one. And when I first heard of the debut track, I wasn't that like impressed by it. I'm like, okay, it's it's not bad, but it wasn't that great. But the first track wasn't like indicative of the whole album. The album is death metal with very kind of black metal and a lot of kind of almost kind of ambient overtones too. It's I think it's fairly experimental with some of the sounds. The second track, which we're gonna play in a little bit, they have an organ in the background towards the end of the song.
Organ, that's pretty cool.
Some of the songs have like, I don't know what they are exactly, but they're like kind of like outer spacey kind of sounds. Because the album, I couldn't get a hold of the lyrics. Usually when you buy an album on Bandcamp, they come with lyrics. For some reason, this one didn't. And I actually emailed the label to say, hey, what gives? But it's all very sci-fi and horror themed. If you check out the cover of the album, it's done by an Italian gentleman by the name of Paolo Girardi. I checked out his Facebook page, and he looks like an MMA fighter. It's really funny, but like all the artwork is really cool. It's all kind of oil paintings and stuff like that. But he did the cover, and it's amazing. It's got like this skeleton-headed guy with some kind of like cannons for arms fighting these insect people on a pile of like space skulls and stuff. And it's pretty goddamn amazing.
So
actually.
What you're saying is it's pretty metal.
I'd say it is quite a metal cover, if there ever was one. Songs on the album, they range. Some of them are kind of melodic and somewhat like melancholy, and then all of a sudden you'll get this blast of like guttural vocals and just like noise, but not like in a bad way, not like it's overpowering. It all blends well together and all works, but it's just like a wall of sound just hits you, and then it's like you'll hear this, it's this great solo, and it's got bass solos. It's really good. There's a lot of great stuff going on. It's dark. It's grungy at times. Not like Seattle grunge. It's a bad term to use, but just like the way all the sounds kind of meld. And the vocals, like I said, they remind me of Broken Hope. If you listen to their last album, it's very just like it sounds like he gargled with razor blades and peroxide.
Yeah,
but it works well with the album. There's the beginning of the album. This is what's weird about this album for me anyway. Like a lot of albums, they'll start off great, and like towards the end, it's like it kind of carries on. It doesn't carry like what the album started with. This one is like the opposite. It starts off really fast and really heavy, and towards the end, it gets kind of dark and kind of sludgy, kind of doomy a little bit. Like that kind of pace. Like the last couple of songs are like 8 minutes long. They go on, but they're really, really good. It's a great album. It was better than what I expected after hearing that first track, and I would definitely give it 4 to 5. If you're into dark and experimental and that kind of stuff, then it's definitely worth checking out.
Did I hear you say 4 out of 5?
I said 4 to 5.
Wow. I'm impressed.
Very good. Very good. I liked it.
I didn't know anything really about this band up until I think you started mentioning it, and I don't know why. With a name like Artificial Brain, I think it's got to be somebody would say something about it, but I didn't remember reading about it anywhere or seeing it even on Metal Sucks. I listened to it twice today, and I was honestly a little underwhelmed. I don't know what it was. We had spoken before the show about some of the songs seem to have like an organ that popped up every now and then. I think that's going to be on the song we play, right? Absorbing Black Ignition.
Yes.
And that was a nice touch, but I listened through it twice, and it was one of those albums. Was like, it wasn't bad, but I just was like, okay, it's over. Oh, okay. Well, let me listen to it again. Maybe I missed something, and I didn't feel as though I missed something, but not having listened to it, I'm trying to remember the last time I listened to it was maybe 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I'm like, maybe I do want to revisit it because it's right up my alley. It's very, like you said, the vocals are very guttural. It's very heavy and it tends to get sludgy sometimes. It has little bits of death metal, little bit of black metal here. I don't think there was too many blast beats or like really fast parts, if I remember correctly.
There were fast parts, but not blast beats like you said.
No. So it kind of brought me back to a time in the 90s when death metal was really kind of taking a hold, and I think it would have fit well then. And it's still a good album, but it's something I really have to listen to at least one more time, because I'm like, I don't know. I feel as though I'm missing something, and I don't know what it is. And it could be because I was at work and I wasn't able to fully pay attention to it. Mm-hmm. But that's how I like to listen to it, because I don't, even when I'm driving, I'm still doing other things and listening to the songs. It's very rare that I actually just sit down and put on an album and just sit there and listen. It's very, very rare. Nobody has time for that. Who got time for that?
I got time for that.
So again, I'm not really sure if it was just something that I was just distracted doing other work stuff, or that there's nothing there that I actually missed. Like, it's just what it is. Very, very. It sounds great. Very well produced. I don't know if I can give it a 4, because I'm not there yet. I would have to go 3.25.
You're killing me.
I still liked it, but again, like, I'm listening to you, I'm like, well, because for me, this album doesn't seem like it would be something up your alley.
It caught me by surprise too. Like, I first heard a couple tracks I released, I was like, meh, whatever.
Well, and
then everybody I kept hearing about it and reading reviews about it. I'm like, maybe there's something to it.
Well, and that's kind of why I'm like racking my brain, because I really didn't expect you to give it a good review. I'm like, oh, maybe I'm missing something. So I definitely have to revisit it when I have some downtime and see what I think then. It's 3.25 isn't that bad, Angel. Out of 5?
No, it's just such an obscure, obscure number.
I know. At least I didn't go like 3.18 or something, or pi, whatever that is, 3.16. That would have really fucked
that
up.
would have been so much better if you're like, I give this album pi.
Oh, nice.
Next time, save it.
Yeah, but now it's out there. Everybody's going to expect
Doesn't matter. It'll still be just as funny because we won't see it coming.
Good point. Yeah, that's why I'm like, well, if he liked it, and it's not something I would expect him to like, what did I miss? So that number could fluctuate. It could go to 3, it could go to 3.5. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and find out. I like the fact, though, that it says in Google Play how many times you listen to each song. Everyone says 2.
They're watching you.
I know. So with that, I think we're going to play Absorbing Black Ignition, correct?
Yes.
All right, we'll do that, and we'll come back, and we'll jibber-jabber some more. Hopefully there'll be more boobs. But I think if there are, then Angel will get jealous because she likes to be the only boobs around. Correct?
Yeah.
Artificial Brain off Labyrinth Constellation, Absorbing Black Ignition. artificial... Whoa! Why do I sound loud? I sound really loud. Hello? You there?
Yeah, hi.
Why do I sound loud?
I don't know.
That's weird. What did we hear? We heard Artificial Brain. Wow. Even it's... The hell? I didn't hit any buttons. I don't think I hit any buttons. Artificial Brain off of what album?
Labyrinth Constellation.
And what was the song?
I forget.
It's not good because I closed the window.
Oh, you horse's ass.
That's why I was like throwing it to you. Does it start with an A?
Absorbing black ignition.
There you go. This should be metal or not really very well prepared. I think that's a better name. There's an argument going on in the chat room, and
Yeah, I was checking it out. I don't want to get involved. I'm scared.
well, here's what sucks. I'm afraid to get involved in the chat room during the breaks because I'm afraid I'm going to hit the wrong button and screw everything up. So I just fucking let everybody in there bicker and do whatever, and I just sit here and go, I wanna join in.
That's wise. That's very wise.
Thank you. So, and I just let everything run in the background. I sit here, I check my tablet, check my phone, I check my phone, I check my tablet. It is what it is. But there's a debate on whether gingers are redheads and are redheads gingers. And I grew up always thinking that a redhead and a ginger are the same thing. They just are.
I believe they are, but I think what the lady in the chat room was trying to say is gingers, like natural born gingers,
Right.
are the soulless ones, and there are redheads who are maybe unnaturally redhead or just like plain red as opposed to the orange ginger color, and that's how she's differentiating. That's my view.
No, because a redhead is a redhead, unless you...
Oh, no, I agree with that, but I think that's her point of view. I think. I don't know.
I don't care what the boobs come on as long as I can see them. Am I right or am I right?
You're right.
Come on, give it to me, bro. No one watches South Park. Yes, I saw that episode. I'm out of breath. Anyway, I think it's time to get into the meat and potatoes this week.
Yes,
And this is
an unscheduled kind of meat and potatoes, actually. Of
Yes.
sorts.
And I was going to bring it to the table, but then you brought it up ahead of time. I said, don't you dare even mention a word of this beforehand, because this is something that I feel as though I need to air and get it off my chest.
By all means, then you get it off.
And it's something that I've brought up every time in recent memory when you bring up like a news story about Anthrax and the recording of the new album. Where's Joey? No mention of Joey. Joey who? I don't know this Joey. This Joey must be like a fucking unicorn, a ginger unicorn. How about them apples?
The rarest of them all.
Right. Nobody's seen it. Nobody fucking rode one. He's just there. He like, you just see him in like books of legend and stuff. If you open up an album jacket, there was this guy named Joey. He sang for us at one point. Then he left. And then we brought him back. Now where is he? I don't know. Maybe he went to
Shadow
Mordor.
news.
He went to Mordor or Harry Potterville, wherever them fucking little goblins went. I don't know. But what recently surfaced, and this caught my attention before I read the Metal Sucks story, was I follow Scott Ian on Anthrax, on Twitter, of Anthrax on Twitter. And he put out a tweet that said, and I'm reading this is actually what he said, lest anyone think differently, I love Joey Belladonna, #PDA, public display of affection. And I'm like, what the I just, whatever. I thought it was just something they threw out there. And then I saw the headline for the Metal Sucks story, Scott Ian loves Joey Belladonna. And I'm like, this, like my head's going, this can't be real. This is happening, isn't it? They're going to lose Joey, and there's going to be no Anthrax album for another 8 years. They're going to go through another 14 fucking lead singers, and it's just going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess. I'm going to have to go read the nice fucking message boards to find out what's going on, see everybody bitch. And I just was like, I can't. lose the next 8 years of my life over Anthrax. I just can't do it again. I just can't. I did it before, and I just don't. I didn't want to do it again. And so I started reading this story on Metal Sucks, and the backstory is, and it really just kind of fills in all the plot holes from everything I've ever mentioned. Mm-hmm. Belladonna did an interview. Let me see. What's the Belladonna? A new interview, Sweden Rock Magazine, which is a huge seller over here. And he said, I don't even talk with the other members of Anthrax right now. I mean, there'll be a few emails, but they're so short. It's not like I sit on the horn telephone and talk to Charlie Benante all day. He don't he don't have time for that. I do, but they just don't, you know. It's only out of necessity that they keep in contact with me. So even back then, I don't think it was anything really that cool. Part of me might not have joined it because it wasn't as open as when I jammed with friends at home, and they'd always come over to my house all day and play for hours, and we'd go out together, we'd hang out. Anthrax wasn't like that, you know? And again, it's when you read that and in context with the history that Belladonna and just Anthrax in general have had with lead singers, it's like, you dudes got to do a little bit better of including everybody in on the process. I mean, even if he doesn't write any of the music and the majority of the lyrics he doesn't write, just make him feel wanted. You know, he's your lead singer. Bring him into the fold a little bit. That's all I'm saying. I can't go through another 8 years without an Anthrax album.
Oh, my God, you're killing me. Be careful you don't cry over the keyboard and short everything out.
No, that won't happen. But I don't know. And maybe it's one of the things I remember back when Belladonna first was quote unquote thrown out of the band, or he left. I think even Belladonna said he was thrown out of the band, and the other guy said he was thrown out. They said it was for drinking, and he just doesn't even know why. But I remember them saying back in the 90s, it was like, because Joey was like, I wrote some, the songs, and Scott was like, no, he never wrote anything. Well, maybe he didn't write them because you didn't let him in there, or I don't know. I know bands do things, all bands do things differently. Like in Metallica, James and Lars do most of the writing, but still the other guys are involved and they contribute. It just doesn't seem like Scott and Charlie, and even to a lesser extent Frank, want anybody else included, not even the new guitarist John. It's like, and I guess it's worked for them, but at the same time it really hasn't. You've gone through lead singer after lead singer for just 3 in the past 8 years. John Bush, the other guy, Joey.
Who's the other guy?
He was in there. I can't remember his name. I didn't like him. I did not like him.
Did he record an album with them?
No, he was behind. He was in on the writing of worship music. Ex-singer Neil Turbin, not Matt Fallon, Dan Nelson. Yeah, Dan Nelson.
That must have been a quick blip because I don't even recognize his name.
You can find YouTube videos of him singing because he played in concert with them quite a few times. Now, here's a list of all the Anthrax singers. Matt Fallon, Neil Turbin, Frank Bello, Dan Nelson, John Bush, and Joey Belladonna.
But it's funny, though. Even though you had all those singers, I still, whenever I think of Anthrax, I always think of, I know John Bush, but I always think of, Joey Belladonna. Like, I know they had, Neil Turbin was only on for, one album?
Yeah. I did not like him. I just didn't.
See, if you have someone on like that, if you have a catalog of, let's say, 10 albums, you had an original singer, and then let's say the same vocalist throughout. Same thing like with like AC/DC. Their first album was What's His Head, whose name I forget, and the rest is with the other guy whose name I forget.
You talking about Bon Scott?
It's like you don't really think of the band with any other singer except for, the guy who's with him the longest. So most of the time, I'm not even going to count that first guy. He was just like
Neil. No,
there.
No, I didn't. I didn't like that iteration of Anthrax. I'm a big fan of both Belladonna and Bush. They were two different Anthraxes, and those two different Anthraxes came together on Warship Music because the album was so written with John Bush in mind. They were expecting him to come back. It didn't work. They got Dan Nelson. He didn't work out. That was another thing where, like, one day he was there, the next day he was gone. It's like, and then it was like, oh, Anthrax said this, Dan says that. And nobody ever knew what the truth was. You know, obviously you could say it lied somewhere in the middle. So then you had music written for John Bush, and then they wound up with Joey Belladonna, and it worked. Now they're writing this new album with Belladonna in mind. Now I'm like, oh, he's not going to be there. It's like, I don't, because when they did Sound of White Noise, Belladonna wasn't in mind. They didn't have Belladonna's vocals. They had John Bush. So that's why it doesn't sound like a prior Anthrax album with John Bush on vocals. Mm-hmm. But musically,
I see what you're saying. I know what you mean.
Warship Music is a Bush music album geared towards his vocal style, and it just happened that Joey Belladonna came in and killed it. And I think part of that was because he isn't the singer that he was. He doesn't have the same range, and that's not a problem because it worked. But I don't know. For me, I would think you would want somebody more of their input on the band, on the making music side of it. And
I agree with you. Like, when I always think of any band, for that matter, writing music, you always picture, okay, here's all five guys, whatever, sitting here talking in a room and throwing stuff and back at each other, and one guy playing stuff and some guys. That's how I always picture the creation process going. Of course, it doesn't always go that way. Obviously, some people, as we've found out, don't get involved at all, and sometimes it works out, and sometimes it doesn't. But as I was saying, to you in the beginning, before the show, some people just have relationships that way. It's like, you have your friends that you do this activity with, and you have people you do that activity with, and you don't, some friends that you have don't cross those paths.
Right.
And maybe for better or for worse, Anthrax is the way, and to some extent other bands, I'm sure, have similar processes where, okay, John, Frank, and Harry write the music, and then when they're done writing it, Fred comes in and sings it, and it works. I mean, if they're okay with that, then that's fine. And it's kind of hard to tell. I don't think Joey is okay with it, but he seems to kind of accept it in a way, maybe reluctantly.
No, and that's what it sounds like. And that's why he's coming across like he really would like to have more input, but they are not reaching out to him for whatever reason. They're just not including him. And I don't know why. I mean, he obviously, like you said, he seems to want to be in on the process. So are they scared of bringing him in and having him around more? Maybe they don't get along. I don't know. And again, it's if it works, if the new album comes out and Joey's still there and it's a great album, then whatever I say doesn't matter. Not that it matters anyway, but then they have it all figured out and good for them. But even Scott said, hey, if Joey's not in the band and we're not Anthrax anymore, we're calling it a day.
Well, we'll have to wait and see on that.
Dude, don't run. I'm actually... Hold on.
I don't want to ruin anything for you.
Well, you're not ruining anything for me. I'm going to do a Twitter search here. Is John Bush on Twitter? I'm going to reach out to John for Anthrax.
Sure he is.
John Bush Twitter. There we go. John Bush Anthrax Twitter.
Now, is he currently with Armored Saint?
He,
Armored Saint is a band I've never listened to, so I don't know anything about their story or whatnot.
I am not a big Armored Saint fan, but as far as I know, Armored Saint is kind of still there, but if I remember correctly, reading an article, he and his wife set up like some sort of studio where they just record voiceovers and they do commercials and stuff. He like did a Burger King commercial. He was a voice for like a Burger King commercials. John Bush was a fucking Burger King commercial guy. To my brain, I heard that. I was like, "Gah, you were singing Room for One More, and now you're hawking a fucking."
That's why I wanted Burger King so bad the other day.
Yes, but I think he's kind of comfortable doing his stuff and not really looking to get out on the road. I know he's got kids, so I think Armored Saint's writing songs and recording. Whether they're going to do anything, I don't know. They'll probably have a new album out before Anthrax. But I'm not a big Armored Saint guy. But I just don't see Twitter. Oh, damn, is he on? Former Anthrax singer John Bush no longer wants to tour. I'm just reading headlines off of Google. I don't see. Oh man, how am I going to reach out to him? Does he have a Facebook? I don't. Probably not. That sucks.
Probably not because of people like you.
Right, because I'd be like, dude, just go back. Just do it. Well, why waste any more time? It's just going to happen. No, I guess he's not on. Oh, this stinks.
We're going to have to wait and see. I mean, the album should, if according to him, it should be out sometime this year. So it's only a waiting game at this point.
No, I understand, but it's, I don't know. When I read shit like that, and I only say it because Anthrax is probably one of my top 3 bands. If I had like a top list, to start, they're just my favorite thrash band. They've been one of my favorite bands forever, except for the Neil Turbin days. But like if this was Megadeth, I'd be like, oh, whatever, you guys suck. It's probably the best for you.
I know, you feel, you listen to these bands for so long, you feel like attached to them, and to hear stuff like this, it's like, fuck, man, that sucks.
Yeah, and it's weird too because 20 years ago we didn't read about this stuff because there was no internet, so you didn't have that ability to get Sweden Rock Magazine quotes.
Or you were able to read about it, but by the time you read about it, it was done and reconciled or whatever. Right. At that point,
I think I remember hearing Joey Belladonna was booted out of Anthrax on SOU. I was like, what? How does that happen? Joey, no more Anthrax? What are you going to do? What are you doing to me?
Did you drown your sorrows in a pint of ice cream?
Oh, probably. In a couple Big Macs. I had a Big Mac, then some Haagen-Dazs chocolate chip ice cream, and then a Big Mac on top of that, and just fucking ate it. And my mullet shrunk 3 inches that day. Ow, God. The pain.
Oh, that's funny.
It's probably true. I don't know. Seems to me Joey wants more input. The guys don't want the input, and to me that would lead to friction. That's just the way I look at it.
I concur.
I know you concur, and I just still can't find John Bush's Twitter. Yeah, I love ice cream. Oh, I'm one of those guys who eats ice cream, but I just pick the stuff out of it.
Depending on the flavor, yeah, I'm like that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just found John Bush left Anthrax on Metal Sucks for all the reasons we thought he did. Yeah, because they brought Joey back, and I don't know. It is what it is. I liked a lot of the Bush music. It's a shame. And it's Scott and Charlie are like the power guys in the band, so
a lot of bands have that though.
No, they do. But if you look at Metallica, it's worked for them for the most part. The 2 main sources of power are Lars and James. They started the band. But what's his name? Kirk still has input. He comes up with riffs. He comes up with solos. He comes up. I don't know if he does lyrics, honestly. And I think the same is for Robert. And when Burton was in the band, he was one of the biggest songwriters. So, I don't know. Just get your shit together, Anthrax.
Poor Kirk.
Give the people the information. I'm going to choose a song then.
Well, Barry picks a song. This has been a Metal or GTFO production. You can read all about the show and all of our social media links and all that good stuff at metalorgtfo.com. If you want to get in touch with us, you have maybe a band you think we should be listening to or something you want to check out, you can send us an email at metalorgtfo.com or metalorgtfo show at gmail.com. We're all on social media, Twitter, Facebook. You can just search Metal GTFO. You will find us there. Don't forget, if you listen to us on iTunes, leave us a couple stars. We would really appreciate that.
No. Not a couple. You want like 5.
A couple or 5. A couple plus 3. And you can also listen to us live on Spreaker and also after we're live on Spreaker. The show will remain there for your listening pleasure.
Yeah, the main difference is Spreaker, you get the half hour of music before the show. The podcast, you just get the show.
Correct.
This is all about benefits. Benefits. So next week we'll do another review and we'll talk some more shit.
Sounds about right.
Sounds like right. And, well, I think the most apt song to take us out this week is off of this stellar album, We've Come For You All, by Anthrax, the last album with John Bush. The song is... Goose, do you know the name of the song?
No, just play it.
Here's Anthrax with Think About an End. And then we talk to you next week, right?
Yes, sir.
Bye.
Toodles.